good, y'all? It's Project Man. Today we're back again with another video. This is going to be... What in the world is right there? This is going to be us checking out what Rock said on Pat McAfee show. Like, I seen it, but, you know, I wanted to get a little bit of... just to make sure I get the proper clarity, we're going to check out the clip he posted. Why did the final boss miss WrestleMania 41, as The Rock explained? So we're going to get into this thing. And then we're going to break it down. Like I said, I seen it, but had to show it again just to make sure, you know, we got the right clarity. But let's get into this thing.
As we got closer,
and then I'm gonna get my thoughts out.
Elimination Chamber, we were kicking ideas around, myself and Triple H, and that's the fun part, by the way. I've been kicking ideas around with Triple H for 20 years, dude. Just always having a great time with him and
all that,
my team as well. And Triple H said, you know, what about this? What about John turning? I said, I love it. I love it. The next question is you got to talk to John, see how he feels about it. And, you know, in a moment where you have this shift and click moment, and it happened to me when I was a pure baby face. I got booed out of the building around the world, and they took the title off me my rookie year, and they sent me home the summer of '97. And I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew this is not going to work for me. I don't even know if I have a future in pro wrestling. I get a call from Vince and says, I'm going to bring you back as a heel and be part of the Nation of Domination. I said, that's great. I love it. But just give me 2 minutes on the microphone to speak from the heart. And he did that. And things changed immediately that night. It's the same thing with John. John loved this idea of turning heel, but he's like, well,
now, let's keep in mind, I was never a Cena sucks guy. I was always chanting, let's go Cena. I was a fan of him as a kid, childhood GOAT, you know what I'm saying? So I was never one of those people hating. Just to put that out there.
There's an anchor here.
I never got the
which is a real thing that I've been experiencing over.
Well, I got older and kind of, I guess you could say, understood from their perspective. But
so when we were moving forward with John,
Cena hater,
and this idea of him getting crowned at WrestleMania, and becoming 17 and turning heel. I'm sorry, and then being a heel champion. I knew then. The best thing for the final boss, we've established this idea of Cody's soul. We can always come back to it. I did feel, and I made the call. I don't want to be involved in that. Step back. Let the final boss step back into the shadows. Let all the spotlight go to John. Let it go to Cody.
Okay, so this is where I seen it. Okay, I seen it. Okay, we're gonna kind of break it down here and there. We're gonna give a more detailed explanation when it's all over, but we just gotta give us some comments here and there. I was one of those people that said maybe Cena ruining wrestling. Maybe that was kind of part of the story. That's why we didn't get The Rock out there. The only way you can make fans mad nowadays is certain creative decisions. And maybe it played into the story. Maybe it did. But if it didn't play into the story, then this was just bad on them. This was just bad on their part and them having a lackluster story-driven finish. It's starting to seem like that's what this is. Because, bro, The Rock said... I figured best thing, final boss takes a step back, go in the shadows, not be involved in the finish at WrestleMania. But my thing is, like, if you involve yourself in the story, though, and look, big Rock fan over here, by the way. I'm not one of these people that be like, for Rock, he shouldn't be on WWE television. I'll get into that, addressing those comments. But, bro, you gotta be at WrestleMania, boy. What you talking about? Bro, you was at WrestleMania 4. It was perfect, right? WrestleMania was freaking fantastic in the build-up, right? He was there consistently to build up the match. He was there, and we had a great moment. Cody wins the championship. Rock tried to stop him. It made perfect sense, right? You said, because the whole promo leading up to the match was, I'm going to do everything because you stole this dream match from me. I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you don't win that championship. Perfect explanation. Makes sense, and he actually did try to stop him, and that's the case. Okay, well, if Rock didn't get Cody's soul and he said, Cody told him to go F himself, then it makes perfect sense that The Rock would do something WrestleMania 40-esque and but except he comes out on the winning side of things by helping John Cena beat him because, one, Cena's whole thing is that he hasn't been able to get a win for, 4 or 5 years or whatnot, or, more than that. It's been a while since he's gotten a single televised victory. And you're the catalyst for why Cena turned heel. Storyline-wise, what we see on television, Elimination Chamber, you were the catalyst for the heel turn. So yes, you have to be here to help him win, because that's the only way that's the only way you can properly follow up on what you set up a month or two out, or a month or two before WrestleMania. You were the catalyst for his heel turn. or I'm sorry, a month out. A month out before WrestleMania, you set up the heel turn. So yes, you have to be the one to help him win the match because that's the only way you can tell a intriguing ending to World Title number 17 versus Cena just winning. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted the Cena to just win, then yeah, you shouldn't have been involved in the heel turn. If you wanted all the spotlight to be on Cena, like then you shouldn't have been a part of the heel turn. Because now that you're a part of his heel turn, now we're expecting you to be a part of the win. But let's keep going.
Let's not make it about Cody's soul eventually or John's soul. No, let's let them do what they do. And I called John after
which here's the thing. That's fine. So don't involve yourself in the story if you not gonna be there to follow up on the shit. That's the point I'm making.
Spoke to him, called Cody, and I said, I think the final boss's work is done. We've established it. We just pulled off the greatest angle.
Like I've seen it already, so that's what I'm like.
Wrestling, other than Hulk Hogan turning heel back in the 90s. Damn, I said, this is amazing. We have 6 weeks. Now, let's build. You guys go and crush it. And
could you imagine Rock's like, yes, we pulled off this massive heel turn. Now you guys go along, and I'm just going to go and film my movies and make a lot of money. Goodbye. Wait, what? Yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye. I'm done. What, you're done? What? But you have to at least be able to explain yourself in a relationship and tie all these loose ends up, and so we can have a big time finish at WrestleMania. You have to be involved in that. Nope. You guys got it. I want to put all the spotlight on you. But you're the reason why we even have this story in the specific way we turned John Cena heel, in the way we've done it. You have to be here for this. Nope. You guys are good. You can do it all on your own. Yes, Rock, you have to be there. If you involved yourself in the heel turn, you have to be there for the big title win leading that was the Elimination Chamber heel turn was the build up to WrestleMania. So you have to be a part of that since you've made yourself a part of the story. If you wanted the spotlight to be on just Cena and Cody, then Cena should have just turned heel by himself.
There with you, and I'm always here if you need me, but I think it's best for the final boss not to be involved in that finish.
But I'm trying to think, did he say that they wanted him to be at WrestleMania, but he just said no? I'm trying to figure out if that's what happened. I'm trying to think, did they ask him to be there and he just said, no, I think I shouldn't be there? Because now that's different. Because now we know he could have been there. It wasn't like he was busy on that day.
So they had 6 weeks to plan for that. So I love
Pat McAfee's face. I know he's thinking the same thing the rest of the fans are. He's like, this son of a bitch.
The finish of the match.
He's got the same facial expression.
I would have finessed things a little differently on how they got there.
Yeah, now when I heard that, I'm like, I wonder if that was him throwing shade at Triple H saying, like, why the fuck did you put Travis Scott out there, man? Now that's making people think I'm going to be there. Fuck. I wonder if that's what he meant. I'm thinking, like, I wonder if that's what he meant.
There are a lot of minds in the room. That's my thought. But still, ultimately, the bottom line was, I love John getting 17. And I never had a concern about John pulling this off. My thoughts are always to Cody because of what we've established with him and his story and the kind of babyface that he is. So if done right, and I think if finessed right, and if nuanced right, down the road, that guy not only has an incredible babyface run again as champion, but also just an unheard of run as a heel.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Let's talk about you saying the final boss needs to step away.
Which everybody can agree that, a Cena heel turn is going to, a Cody heel turn is going to hit harder than a 100 pack, give us the thrill of a Rhino pill, you know what I mean? Like, usually if you're that, it's one of those, usually in wrestling, it's not like this all the time, but usually if you're a massive babyface, that means you probably are going to have an even greater heel run. You know what I'm saying? Because if you can get the fans to love you like that, then getting them to hate you will be like a freaking cakewalk. But it's just funny, Rock's face right here. He's just like, yeah, I think I got him with that answer. Yeah. But yeah, it sucks because when you have these type of interviews that are, a lot of people are going to tune in, a lot of people are going to watch. The issue with it is, now, Pat, I bet you Pat so badly, but, you try not to embarrass the guy. I bet Pat was thinking like bro, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, it don't make it. Since you're a part of the heel, in a world where you weren't part of the heel turn, I agree you shouldn't be at WrestleMania in that main event. But since you were a part of the heel turn, that would have been the only logical way to follow up on it and give us a story-driven, electrifying finish. But the electrifying finish can't just be Travis Scott. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not enough for people to really go, yeah, that was a satisfying way for Cena to win the world title number 17. Like, that just wasn't thrilling and exciting. But he can't say that because then it kind of puts The Rock in the spotlight or in a light where he has to find a way to explain himself, which is why, you know, and look, I'm sure they probably could have, and, you know, you could probably have those conversations personally, but goddamn.
You know, kind of let the spotlight be where it should be with John and Cody, who...
Which is fine if The Rock's not a part of this heel turn. Look at this fucking smile. This fucking guy here, bro.
Being the goat.
He know he bullshit.
When it's all said and done. He's also trying to vibe.
He know he bullshit.
On that Mount Rushmore rock with his dad on the backside with you raising your eyebrow. A lot of people just assumed you were going to show up. Just assumed you were going to show up. So when Travis...
I mean, like me and the other fans, once Travis Scott showed up, we was like, oh, the shenanigans have begun. Here we go. Refs knocked down. Travis come out. All right, final boss. Let's get to work, man. Basically, do what you did at WrestleMania 40, except this time you succeed, which would have been a great story to tell, you know, where you backing the guy to beat Cody Rhodes and you actually get it done this time. You know, it would have been perfect.
Comes out. They think there's a chance of maybe, you know, there's going to be
a because obviously all three of y'all were together at the Elimination Chamber. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Travis Scott getting involved? And you said
to them, and then meeting Triple H and Nick and Ari as well. And I laid.
Why would they dare say such a thing like that?
Say, here's how I really feel it should go. We can insert final boss in the end of this finish.
Hell yeah.
Where do we go? There's other commitments that I have, and I want to also be careful that we're not overstepping and leading over our skis too much here.
Which that's the problem. If you have other commitments, then turn down the idea of being in. Like, I get, like, him with the Cody and his soul thing. Look, I understand that he has a story with Cody, so that made sense for him to resume to that when he came back. But you can't involve Cena in the shit if you're not going to involve yourself in the finish of Cena's match that you've been building up to. Like, come on, bro. That's what would have made the finish exciting and story driven. So if you think to yourself, well, where do we go? You're the creative mind. You supposed to figure that out, long gamer. Long gamer, final boss. You supposed to figure that out. That's the beauty of creativity. You find out where to go from there. You find that out. So yeah,
can't get involved in the finish. And I said, but why get involved in that finish when the spotlight should just be on, in my opinion, John 17 heel champion? What does 2025 look like?
We agree. Which is why Cena should have done the heel turn by himself. That simple.
If this man is saying he's going to ruin professional wrestling, that to me.
Which, by the way, I wasn't even against him being a part of the heel turn. I was against it not being followed up on and explained so that you could tie up that loose end. But you were able to kind of forget about it a little bit because Cody and Cena were just doing so good going back and forth. But we all knew for it to logically make sense. Like, that was fun still, but for it to logically make sense, we got to explain this Rock-Cena relationship. But, you know.
The anchoring storyline. It's not soul right now. Right now, it's not. But, by the way, we'll go back to it.
We'll still got it. Yeah. Still
we'll go back to soul. Look.
Okay. He's like, well, we'll still go back to the soul, though. Yeah, okay, but here's the thing. You can't be, like, setting up a story in spring and then we gotta wait all the way till fall for you to come back to follow up on it. Remember when The Rock he came back after WrestleMania 40, and then he came back after WrestleMania 40, the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, and then we didn't see him again until Bad Blood, in which we then didn't see him again till the last week of February for him to do the announcement. Oh no, the Netflix debut, which then that Bad Blood story wasn't even followed up upon because the Netflix debut was really just a goddamn, let's be honest, the Netflix debut was a jerk-off session for all the casuals coming in, right? Look at all these legends. Look, we have Rock. Ooh, we have Triple H. Look, we got Hulk Hogan, even though they didn't like that shit. Ooh, look, we got Undertaker. all these guys you might, you've seen before. I mean, they was just missing Stone Cold Steve Austin at that point. So the Netflix debut, he didn't even tell the story with Cody a little bit, affording that story. So I just think fans were like, the story with Rock is just too much inconsistency. Like, when the story makes sense, The Rock is on it, bro. He's like fire. The ideas, the jokes, the roast, and all this stuff is great. But when when the story is inconsistent or confusing, or it's just like this where he can't commit to it because of his other stuff, that's when it starts getting fans going like, okay, he's going to have to get off television, bro.
I can't take the text that I got, and from the guys that I got, who are these top guys who are saying, one in particular who I love is my guy. I call him the Superman of the company.
I'm sorry, Pat's face was killing me.
For sale when it's time. And I said, I love it. Let's do it. So look,
yeah,
I'm
to myself. To myself.
And I'll tell you why. Because he loves wrestling. He's a huge fan, and
but here's the thing. The problem with that is it's like there's nothing wrong with that. All right, he's a big fan, right? Boom, boom. And he's a name, obviously, so they don't have any problem with putting him into this. But if he doesn't fit well into the story, and he's like Travis Scott just feels like he's exactly that, right? A little wrestling fan involving himself in the storyline between the grown folks who actually know what the fuck they're doing, who are actually like that in the WWE. That's the problem. He just looks like a fan. He doesn't look like, if you're going to put him in there, he needs to be somehow adding to this story and adding to the intrigue. He can't just be there for fans' sake. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro.
He respects it. He's working his ass off. I know that he has plans to train with Booker T. I don't know that.
Hey, it's funny. The funny thing about it is Travis Scott did say, I gotta put on like 100 pounds. Boy, he know, at least he's aware that he gotta put on some size. I don't know if he will, but at least he's aware that if he has to do this and in any way believable, he would have to put on like a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I think I texted you as you were happening. Holy shit.
Hell yeah, we was expecting you, boy. Where you at?
Dude, I would tell you if I'm coming out. I'm not favoring you. But again, I loved, at the end of the day, North Star, John Cena, heel champion, 17, the GOAT, says he's going to ruin wrestling. Now we tune every week in every week to see how it happens, how that goes down. Some parts of it I would have just adjust a little bit more. I would have finessed it a little bit more.
Which is another way of saying I wouldn't have fucking put Travis Scott out there.
I think you all should be incredibly proud.
Another way of saying, awesome. No, I wouldn't have put Travis out there.
Just what absolutely ape shit, but the next time it does, it will go crazy.
Yeah, man. But I know he now here's the thing. I know he also said that that Ari Emanuel worked, head of the TKO or whatever. He said that apparently they had called Rock in a month out beforehand because the ticket sales were slow. So I know about that part of the story too. But I don't know, man. It's just hold on. I don't know, man. It's just like, bro, the thing I have an issue with is the fact that it's like, come on, man. Like my rule of thumb is this. The Rock is a phenomenal talent. We all know he's got the charisma, he's great at what he does. But here's when it becomes an issue. Here's when all this stuff becomes like what the heck are we doing? It becomes an issue. Is when what am I trying to say? Okay, it becomes an issue when The Rock can't basically when The Rock can't commit to a story, it messes everything up. When he can't like I just said, I just gave you an example. WrestleMania 40, when he was able to be there, like scheduled dates, he had to be there for the build up. He was there consistently to build the story up, and everything made sense, and it was great. And he was there for the being a part of trying to stop Cody Rhodes from winning the WWE Championship, which is funny because the fans ended up booing Cody the next year because they wanted, they felt the nostalgia, wanted Cena to win world-breaking title number 17 or record-breaking world title number 17. But anyway, side note. But I just think it's like nothing wrong with The Rock being involved in WWE creative. It's just He does not need to be on the show if he's not going to be there like he was at WrestleMania 40 to build up the match and be a part of the finish. Because you can't be like, oh, Final Boss is just going to step away, go into... Okay, if you wanted to put all the focus on World Title 17, then you shouldn't have been a part of it. Now, then he said that, Ari said that, ticket sales were a bit slow, probably because of high-ass prices. He was like, ticket sales are going to be a little slow and stuff like that. So, they put him... Well, okay, but here's the problem, though. The cost of the whole, we got to put Rock there, right? We got to have something that's more must-see for the Elimination Chamber so that we can sell these high, expensive tickets. So we're like, okay, bring The Rock in, and then The Rock says, okay, I wanted to do the soul thing, and Cody selling his soul to maybe in the future set up a Cody heel turn, but then Triple H wanted a John Cena heel turn. So basically, how I see it, they mashed their ideas together, and it could have worked if Rock would have explained why him and Cena are aligned together, or if he would have showed up and helped John Cena win at WrestleMania. It still could have worked. So it's not like, oh, the plan was out the window. So I think the issue is The Rock, it's like he doesn't understand how him not showing up doesn't make any sense. That's one of those situations of either he was trying to I want to keep the spotlight on them. That was either another way of saying I don't want to be at WrestleMania, or he genuinely thinks that him being there shouldn't have been the case. But like I said, big Rock fan, but I gotta call it how I see it. I don't mind him on WWE television. I just need him to only get involved in storylines where you're gonna actually be there the next coming weeks and actually build up the match you're gonna have with this guy at whatever PLE is coming up. Because again, when he did it at WrestleMania 40, he was there consistently. Everything made sense. He was there to build it up. He was there to have the match. He was there to play a big part in the finish of the second night. And it all made sense. So it would have continued to make sense if The Rock would have involved himself in the John Cena finish, and the finish would have been way less anticlimactic. So I'm not one of those people that's like, F for The Rock, he don't need to be on WWE television no more. I just think he only should be in storylines when we know he's going to be there consistently to build up the match and get us to the PLE where he has the match. Because this whole, we're going to set up this story in spring, but then I ain't going to address it until, the fall, because that's the next time I can show up. We got to stop doing that, because all that's going to do is confuse the fans, and when you do too much of that, it makes them either walk away from the product or they start losing their love for Dwayne The Rock Johnson, because it's like, this guy's confusing the crap out of us. We can't trust him to be here like that. And he's just not showing up consistent enough. So my whole thing I said before I got on camera was, I think The Rock just has way too many commitments. So him trying to be doing WWE and then be doing movies and then selling his products, it's just too much is going on. And he's trying to balance too much at once. And because of that, because he's trying to be at multiple places at the same time, it's messing up other things. This is messing up the storyline as far as logic is concerned. It's messing up Cena's story. If Cena's whole story is, oh, I'm turning heel because of the heat I have with the fans, then why was The Rock? But you have to tie in The Rock. It could have been this. Here's how easy this could have been. All they had to say, other than Rock interfering at WrestleMania 41, which is should have happened, all they had to say was that The Rock influenced John Cena to turn heel because this is his last chance to really tell the fans how he truly feels, and he doesn't deserve that treatment he got over the last 20 years. So he could have just said that The Rock was basically getting into my head, influencing me, and telling the truth that, guess what? Last year, these fans, said that they wanted the Rock versus Roman match, but then when we got closer and Cody wins the Rumble, they just switched up on me just like that. So what makes you think they won't do the exact same thing to you? What makes you think that they won't switch up on you during this last run? And then Cena could have been like, and as I had that talk with The Rock, he was God done right. And so boom, I took action and elite, and then it could have led to him doing the same promo he did in the weeks we've seen of him saying, and Rock is exactly right. You fans were rude and awful to me, and I'm gonna ruin the wrestling. It could have been the same story. All you had to do was just tie in The Rock into it. So as the one that influenced you to make this decision, that's all they had to do. So it wasn't like this thing was so difficult. And then the fans would have been fine if The Rock didn't show up after WrestleMania. But as long as he was interfering in this match, helping Cena win, that to me was the biggest thing. If Rock decided to take a break after that, I don't think it would have been an issue, right? Because like you said, you can go back to the taking Cody's soul thing, and maybe that sets up for a heel turn down the line. But it's like, I get it. Ari wanted him to be there, sell tickets. Ari's the boss or whatever. He wanted you to be there. But the thing is, it's like if you're going to be there, you have to be there. Like the problem is that The Rock is just going to be doing this over and over again where he's taking these long breaks, not being there. It just messes up the story. Or by the time you come back, the story ain't that relevant. Or we don't know where the hell it's going. So I think The Rock, final thing I'm going to say is The Rock only needs to be on television when he actually is, when it's like WrestleMania 40 where like he can be there for multiple dates and it's going to build up to a match that we know is going to happen. Because if let him do what he's doing now where it's all these sporadic appearances, it's just going to mess up the logic. Like I still love the guy, you know what I'm saying? But, and we'll be, there for him and, excited when he comes, when he's back on WWE television. But I got to still be honest when I say that he got to stop messing up the logic, bro. That's really what it is. It's just when you say stuff like, "Oh, I don't think I should be there" and stuff. But it's not about whether you think. It's funny. It doesn't matter what you think. Like it doesn't matter if you think you should be there. If it logically needs to make sense, which are great, and you can tell like it's like, okay, Rock, you love the fact that he has these ideas and creative ideas or whatever. But if you can't execute them in a logical way, it's just there's semblances of a good idea, but they're executed so poorly, so it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So I think The Rock, the final thing I'm going to say is The Rock does not need to be on WWE television unless we know he can consistently be there for assigned dates for an assigned match that we all know is going to happen and or is confirmed. So that's just my take on it. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments. And then we're going to say this, what is and what's going to be the project. Continue to come out with the content videos, bangers over and over again for you guys. Follow all the socials down below and I shall see you in the next video, man. We're going to keep putting in the work, grind, time, and effort. That is the vibe that DJ's on.